Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brightworks, and I hope you're having a wonderful weekend as we dive right in today to another match of Beyond All Reason, and a map that I particularly love that goes by the name of King's Assault, and now spawning here as our blue Cortex commander and wearing a beautiful little goblin that is also wearing a little punching glove as well. We've got a little bit of Inception going on here. We have our blue team leader, a commander that goes by the name of Lovish. Sorry, I had to look it up over on my chart over there. It's going to be Lovish here, our blue team leader here, clocking in at, my goodness, 46.07 open skill. Certainly going to be showing us some top-tier gameplay. Spawning right up on the front line and grabbing that very valuable metal extractor. I believe this is a 10.0 metal extractor. Super, super good metal extractor. Obviously going to be a huge jumpstart for the economy as the blue commander gets underway. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map here, spawning as the red Armada commander, it's gonna be none other than Blossom. Blossom deciding to go for some Armada shenanigans, going into solar panels, wind turbines, and eventually into a good old-fashioned Armada bot lab. Alright, Blossom versus Lavish. Now, there's some other big names in here as well. I recognize Nizah. I recognize Akumar 6. I also recognize for the blue team Towns here on the southern side, and some others as well. Sivan also going to be playing here as well. She's going to be showing us some Armada gaming, and it looks like actually we have double Armada gamers from the purple and green commanders on the blue side here on the southern side of this map, which is going to be a lot of fun to watch because this ends up being, well, it should be a very Armada-centric match. Akumar 6 is the only one, really, that doesn't have the Armada thing going on, so it will be mostly Armada seeming to be fighting on the field here. I wonder if maybe we'll... yeah, this might be a good opportunity to see how Starlights counter each other. I imagine both of these commanders are going to be opting into vehicles eventually here on this rather flat and wide open terrain. In the midsection of the map, we have our tan hero Borka going to be going up against the blue commander. Always a yeah, a scary moment for sure to see that the top commander, the #1 OS leader commander for the enemy team, is playing in the most powerful, the most well-metalled spot, the most resource advantageous spot, shall we say here. The 10 metal per second mechs. Obviously, once you get this upgraded to T2 as well, it jumps that economy even further. Yeah, things can escalate very, very quickly here, and it's why, indeed, we see Levish going for solar panels, and then also going for that very early construction tower, because, frankly speaking, you can afford all this. On that early metal advantage, you really can, and then not to mention, all these are 2.5s as well. The economy skyrockets here, is what I'm trying to say for the midsection commanders. Makes sense then why Nizah is moving out already very quickly here, and man, this game is already underway. Typically, the strategy on this map revolves around controlling as much of the midsection as possible, and then harassing around the side, so we've already seen a couple of run-bys through and around into these pathways here, kind of into the back lines of both of these teams, and it looks like the red team has done a fabulous job of scouting around over here. We will have at least one set of rovers making it into the back line. One rover will get a mech, and another, yep, finds a second. Oh, very close call, but the rover does get the mechs, and our other rover over here will get another one. Nicely done. Oh, we queue up the reclaim. Oh, sniping the res bot there is very nice as well. Okay, so ultimately getting well and away its value here. Oh, and we're not even done yet. Yeah, the rover's still pushing onward. Meanwhile, a blitz has actually managed to snipe the con bot that was moving out here for the blue commander. Super annoying for Lovish to deal with, because obviously that con was designed to expand this entire northern side. The fact that it's down now means that we're going to have to rebuild that constructor, and of course also escalate things a little bit faster onto the fronts here. We need to get some units out on the field, and especially knowing that we're going against vehicles, things are not going to go your way for very long unless you get a ton of bots on the field or pivot into vehicles yourself. Shuriken defense. Nope. We had the shurikens, but they didn't get pulled for the defense here. They flew right on by here. The grunts, the reinforcing grunts will try their very best. Looks like the pawns will turn around and just settle for the trade right here against the enemy pawns. 4 versus 1 though. Pretty quick trade. More run-bys all over the place here. Yeah, Towns trying to hold on to the front here. Weak. Typing in the heat of battle, something I'm sure many of you who play bar actively are, yeah, very well familiar with. I am always curious about that, by the way. How many of you in the comment section, you can leave your note, how many of you prefer to watch bar versus prefer to play bar? I know there's a substantial amount of people on the Brightworks, or that watch the Brightworks, that would rather just watch a game of bar rather than play a game of bar, and I totally get it. It's super stressful, especially when you're going up against these high-skill commanders like this. Sivan's managed to claim her metal extractors right here. We've got double 1.8s already up and running, and we've got the rocket bots also stepping forward here, and they'll start to push this front line, but of course it leaves you a little bit vulnerable. Love the aggressive positioning right here from Nizah, though. Of course, it means that we can continue to harass around this northern side. Poking at the back of the blue commander keeps them from putting units on the front right here. And yeah, just like that, the entire midsection's been denied. Wow. Well, tremendous kudos here to Nizab, Borka, and Azrathi, the hot pink, tan, and yellow commanders in reverse order, who are doing a phenomenal job of denying any kind of expansion for the blue commander, keeping Lovish very poor. Yeah. Look at this, cheeky devil, sneaky beaking away off to the side, no doubt trying to go ahead and go for a D-gun. Oh, what a cheesy play. I love it, though. If the commander can manage to sneak away in this direction and just get a kill on the laboratory, it could be a huge play. Spectators here leaving their commentary. Fractal Hex apparently chiming in. Yeah, we're going to have an LLT come up here. That might be enough, although with the cloaking power, we don't have a energy storage quite yet. Ooh, we need a cloak or do something to hide. Okay, we don't, so we take a bunch of damage on the commander. Moving into the base, can we send the D-gun? D-gun connects and it does kill the laboratory, but of course the yellow commander does also pay for it. Okay, at the end of the day, was that well worth it? Well, I think when the amount of solar panels that died, as well as of course the laboratory that was lost here, and the build power, and the constructors, all the rest of it, absolutely. Lovish lost tons of production and will lose tons of production time on the front, and it means that Borka, Hot Pink, Azrathi, as well as, well, already we have Nizah pushing all the way forward right here with the commander, of course. Yeah, suddenly it means that because the push was just ever so slightly delayed right here from the Lavender commander, no support was sent to the front, at least not timely enough. And now it means Nizah is in a really, really tricky spot. This is a difficult one to recover from. At this point, all you can really hope to do is essentially just pork as hard as you can and buy a bunch of time for your team. Metal Extractor gets rebuilt. One of the nice things is, well, you have this single failure point, right? If this goes down, then your metal income goes down as well. But the nice thing is also that you can rebuild it quite quickly. You can get back up to full metal production pretty fast. We have a twin guard being set up here. We have the missile trucks right here to try and poke away at this. Oh, looks like a little bit of a commander kill. Oh, yeah, not even a trade right there. Simon moving back to try and intercept some of this, but actually manages to kill the orange commander, Akumar 6, with the pure army right here. Rocket bots blasting all of this down. Meanwhile, I'm going Czar, says the orange commander. Okay. A aggressively timed T2 laboratory right here, especially for having lost everything in the frontline explosion. All of a sudden, that Czar might be miles and miles away right here. We'll have to see. Beamer turrets without power. Oh, no. Okay, we do just barely have energy, I feel like, for these beamer turrets to fire. We need to keep these up and active. If we can keep the beamer turrets firing away over here, then it's not so bad. D-gun away just to deny the metal. I don't mind that whatsoever. Obviously, stepping into the beamers and the LLTs and all that sort of stuff, not ideal. So shutting down that metal before it really can be used to fund anything crazy, like a T2 lab, it makes a lot of sense right here. A tactical play from Sivan. Bombers. Not so sneakily making their way across the map right here. Will they be pivoting towards that laboratory? They do scout it at the very least. That's huge. Revealing that there's a tech transition underway right here. We also, of course, have the front line in trouble. The desperation. I certainly would agree. This is a desperate situation here, certainly for Lovish. Needs some sort of help. We have finally the maces coming in for the assist. But my goodness, where have these been the last 4 minutes? Eventually they will arrive. This is Talon 155. Bombers, by the way. Kind of missing their mark. They took out some wind turbines, but nothing so critical. They don't manage to snipe any super crazy tech. And at the end of the day, well, this is just barely hold. The maces, they need to put on more pressure. If the maces could, for instance, snipe the commander right here, Borka's commander, we are going into a bunch of medium tanks and some advanced solar panels. Don't mind that whatsoever. Of course, jumping that energy production up and running can help your team a whole lot, but there's also these geothermals around. There's one up here, and I believe there's another one. I believe there's another geothermal somewhere around here on this map. Yeah, there it is. In the backline, there's another geothermal. Using those to jumpstart that energy economy can be huge. Speaking of a jumpstart, the Seafoam and Cyan blue and green commanders here, Dinosuchus as well as Twitterbird, have managed to completely commandeer the northern side of this map. Okay. That's tons and tons of metal going back to their economies as well. These 1.8s, they pay for themselves pretty quickly, and the metal trucks, or the missile trucks rather, doing a lovely job as well. The only thing we're missing here, the thing that doesn't come included with the vehicle package, is of course resbots or any kind of reclaim package, or reclaim unit. Unit. Recovering from a very spicy dish I had for dinner tonight. I love spicy food. My body does not. Sometimes sacrifices must be made. I'm sure we've all played with fiends before. Yeah, we really need to go. I feel like these maces might be enough to overwhelm Borka right now. If we could snipe the commander with 1 or 2, probably 4 volleys, I would say. Four full volleys from these maces would probably be enough to take down the commander. We're going to focus on the static defense, which I suppose I don't mind either. But this midsection needs to be cleaned up. These mexes have been allowed for far too long. Putting a little bit of pressure to make sure that this midsection is at least contested is going to be super necessary. Pawn rush here. Big old handful of pawns. Meanwhile, on the northern side, a bunch of medium tanks break on through. Going to be difficult to shut these down. Shurikens, rather. I love the use of the shurikens here. Paralyzing the the Stoutsian range of the LLTs. That's one strategy. Sure. Okay. Yeah, okay. Looks like it's dealt with. This will take a good long while before all this is cleaned up right here. Oh, we need to keep these paralyzed. The LLT will do it. It's a hero LLT. It can clean all of this up on its own. It's just going to take a good long minute. Nice catch from the air player right there. Geothermal. In fact, advanced geothermal coming up right here. Did we get the advanced mechs? We sure did. Using the solar panels to fund it right here. Okay. This is super greedy. If this goes uncontested right here, this blue T2 mechs can be... I mean, this is already a T2 economy. You need about 30 metal per second to start making those T2 units. This will get you 40. Yeah. It's more than enough to start producing those T2 units, things like Sheldon or anything like that. We've, meanwhile, got a bunch of medium tanks in the back line. One base is already down right here for the Brown Commander on the northern side. Magikarp has already fallen. And it looks like we are now moving on to... Oh, no, that wasn't the Brown Commander. Who was this? Maroon Commander, it must have been. Yeah, Maroon Commander down on the northern side here. The Light Pink Commander also only moments away. And it also has a side effect here that is essentially stranding the Brown Commander, the air player. All of a sudden, these fighters have to go through a wall of missile trucks in order to actually get out on the field. Super duper annoying for Magikarp to deal with. There's not really a good way to get fighters out here now. What looks like a very early, wonderful start right here has led into a very rapid Tech 2 rush. And now it means that these early T1 units that were resurrected are going to be making their way across the map right here. Sivin in a whole bunch of trouble as pawns, medium tanks, and now even punishers and whatnot, pounders, make their way forwards here, all overwhelming the production. There's only so much you can do at some point. And just like that, the entire southern side is swept out from beneath the blue team. To take a high perspective here, you can see we've set ourselves up beautifully for a bit of a yin-yang match here. We have the cyan and seafoam green commanders pushing on this northern side, and we have the red and orange commanders pushing on the southern side, intent on sweeping out the backline here of the blue team. And I think these units are primed to go. If we just send them all forward and we continue to resurrect and we continue to reclaim and most importantly continue to rebuild these metal extractors, it's going to be difficult to stop all this. That being said, the middle player is actually in trouble here too. Borka taking a heavy hit. Medium tanks actually in the backline. They take out the metal extractor, which is important, of course. Now the advanced solar panels are in trouble, too. Okay. Suddenly, things looking much more playable here for the blue commander. Twitcher out to build a little more build power right here, and we're actually going for some Scuttle Gaming, or no, Bedbugs, rather. The Explodey Bomb, the light Explodey Bomb, gonna be... I wonder if we're... Yeah, sending these back on the defense. Okay. A rare use, a rarely used unit, but one that I suppose can make some sense here. Kind of? They are quick enough that they can get underfoot of most of these units before they're killed. They're also relatively difficult to hit. And they killed things in just exactly one explosion. Okay. Not the response that I was expecting, but a beautiful one, to say the very, very least. Czar is still going in towards the base over here, but the shurikens are available. As long as the shurikens can get on top of it, I think this Czar will be cleaned up nicely. There we go. Okay. Shuriken do start to blast that Czar down, and it will be no time at all before that thing is paralyzed and essentially as good as dead. Oh, maybe not. Hero fighters to the rescue right here do manage to sweep away most of the shurikens. Eventually, follow-up shurikens will be able to paralyze it. Defensive fighters to shoo away those pesky blues. Pesky browns. Back and forth. The two air players battle. Always difficult to call an air fight until basically the very end.
Commander has died.
Sivin's commander in a little bit of trouble here. This base is completely gone. Borka with 0 production left. lightning turret here, holding its ground against a bunch of these Whistler trucks that are firing away here. Obviously, the Whistler trucks can outrange it, but they won't be able to hit it for full damage when it's tucked into its little shielded compartment right there. In fact, they can't even detect that it's actually a turret all on its own. Does it even matter, though? Mesa's now moving into the back line here. Okay. The blue team with immense map presence. You can see a gigantic metal advantage. A tremendous energy advantage. But from what I can tell, this match is still dead even, commander for commander. The bedbugs, man. What an interesting response. I kind of love it. I kind of love the bedbug usage. I feel like it's a unit we hardly ever get a chance to see. Super, super cool to actually get a chance to see those being used in a good situation where they're actually worthwhile. Medium tanks is a great example. They're so metal heavy. The bedbugs are energy dense, but by the time you get to T2, you at the very least should have tons and tons of metal anyways. We got medium mines scattered around all over the place, which is nice as well. Fusion reactor coming up and running right here. Hot Pink Commander goes down as the, looks like a Persecutor actually has been set up here. The pop-up plasma artillery firing into the distance. The grunts and other T1 units providing the vision here. Now a medium tank's rolling into the laboratory now of the Orange Commander. And again, the fighters clash. This time, this battle going steadily in the favor here of our powder blue hero, Large Fish. The fish of the skies, if you will. Seven taking a defensive role here and now just throwing together as many turrets as possible. Wow. What looked like an awful situation from the southern side ended up working out phenomenally here for the blue team as they managed to rally together, force their way through that northern side, crack the defenses on the back end before they were able to overwhelm, well, the entirety of the blue team. Almost a perfect yin-yang right there if I've ever seen one. More and more Twitchers coming up here. More economy scaling coming up here. We got Centurions. Resurrected Centurions. Would probably have been better spent as T2 metal for a T2 unit. Bombers firing away here as well, or trying to, but the commander is more than happy to just sit here and tank the bombing while the fighters and anti-air turrets shoot those out of the sky. Yeah, this is the issue with losing the northern side here, is the air player is essentially quarantined. There's really nothing Magikarp can do. I mean, you could try and eat your labs and your solars and maybe try and go for some sort of eco cheese, like maybe try and sneak out of transport and grab a T2. But at this point, I mean, there's no way you're going to be able to really sneak any of that through. You're essentially completely cut off from your team. It's only a matter of time before eventually enough air forces are built to come sweep you off this island. But there's not a lot you can do to have impact on the game without being able to put any units out there. I suppose you could always ask for some construction turrets and assist one of these buildings here. We do have lightning tanks now out. T2 Mex is coming up, going to provide 10 metal per second for every one of these 2.5s that gets upgraded. And the Jaguar tanks are pretty good. I mean, they are very, very efficient. Metal for energy, or metal per energy, and metal for damage-wise. Damage per metal-wise. Would love to see this rushed out here. This this level 10 or 10 metal per second metal extractor, but make it a T2 and call it 40. We've actually arrived at a relatively even game. Aside from the reclaim and the map control, it's a relatively even game right now. Largely in part because these T2 mexes that are up and running in the backline right here, they're so impactful. In fact, we've got them all through the front line. You can see for the red commander. Super, super impactful having all of these T2 mexes already up and running, providing a huge eco to the red team. But of course, as those T2 mexes get upgraded for the blue team all over their side of the map, slowly that advantage will start to fade. It's much easier for them to upgrade their mexes, whereas the red team has to really claw tooth and nail in order to activate any of the mexes here on the blue side of the field. Fiends being swept away here by the lightning tanks. This is a menacing army of lightning tanks. At this point, I see 26 or so of them. Grunt's not going to cut it against these, I'm afraid. Fiends will do all right, and in fact, we've actually deconstructed the T2 laboratory here in favor of just building a bunch of Fiends. That is pretty funny. Lightning tanks kind of counter Fiends. It's a weird back and forth where basically whichever one of them has more numbers is the one that's going to win. Some self-D micro here on the Fiends might be worthwhile as well, because these Jaguar tanks tend to clump up as they get moved around and spaced out and traverse the land. Any clumped up tanks are primed for a self-D. 7. Maybe in position for a D-gun here. Doesn't move the commander in position for it. Yeah, we want to kill this base. We want to kill this base badly. Now, obviously, the Fiend is essentially the only option that we have.
Has died.
Oh, let's see if it gets killed right there. It's just not ideal. It's not the best unit for dealing with these lightning tanks. You really need something a little bit sturdier, like sumos or mammoths or something, in order to resist them. Still, though, I think there's just barely enough. Yeah, Fiends, maybe if they had continued around or if they had punched straight through to the middle, might have been able to do some damage. But the backline is already in trouble. Fiends that were produced and handed over here. We even have a commando that was dropped. We have the last commander, by the way, hiding in the corner. I want to say it's BM, but it's just good strategy. You just never know where units are going to be coming from at this point in the game. It's also not the last commander, I should say. There are several commanders here for the red team. Nizah, rebuilding on that northern side. We're trying to resurrect the geothermal, which is a good idea. Getting that up and running is going to be a huge boost to the energy, and then, of course, building everything else is going to be easy after that. More and more Fiends all over the place, though. T2 mechs does come up and running. In fact, it's a armed advanced metal extractor, meaning it'll be quite difficult to kill. And it produces 40 metal per second, which is ginormous. Question is, how do we end this game? Nukes could work. But I think bombing is going to be the weapon of choice right here for the blue commander. We've got loads of grunts, loads of Fiends. What a bizarre laboratory we've got set up here. Rather than going for any kind of, regular laboratory setup, we've just got a ton of Twitchers producing a whole array of units for the blue commander here. I kind of love it. It's a very low-cost solution, and I kind of love that. This is what I imagine a forward base would look like. Not really a laboratory. That's a very expensive. I mean, we do have one now, but not typically a laboratory, as it's very, very expensive to get into. But yeah, just a whole bunch of Twitchers producing a whole bunch of these cheapo T1 units.
Has died.
Makes perfect sense to me. We've got the T2 mixed in, of course. Shuriken's paralyzing some static defenses, just for good measure, I suppose. Purple with loads of units we need to start using. They are going to eventually head towards all these structures and whatnot that have been paralyzed. Bombers here. Chipping away at whatever they can. This is the only remaining real tech position here, though. You know what? Tiger tanks managed to sneaky beaky.
Commander has died.
That's a cyan hero going down. What on earth? Don't tell me. We don't have anywhere near the amount of energy production needed for all this. Why aren't we sending in the troops? The commander. Commanders in boats. Commanders in planes. Flying to this corner of the map now. Oh, we've got multiple. Oh, I see. So we're hiding all the commanders in all the corners. I see what it is. Bombers coming across in this direction here. The brown commander in trouble. Looks like most of the bombers will be shot down before their second pass. Yep.
Commander has died.
Not the end of the world. An excellent defense right there for the brown commander. Fiends do manage to locate the base. An important scout right here to realize where the actual tech is coming from. Oh, self-D. Oh, it just barely does manage to kill those construction towers here. I love a good self-D micro, but maybe not the right time or place. More Fiends running in, though, so maybe these can do the trick. I love the air, though. I mean, we've got continuous air production at this point. We've even got more fusion reactors coming up here, and the T2 lab is spitting out mammoths, which are going to be much more difficult to deal with in 2 to 5 years when they arrive at the enemy headquarters. This is really nice, though. Grabbing these T2 mechs is the advantage. You can see very rapidly the blue team has run away with the resource advantage here. Shocked not to see a T3 gantry up and running. Those T3 Cortex units are relatively cheap. Extremely effective. Oh, we've... Mammoths and planes. That mammoth wearing the transport as a hat, but apparently just barely strong enough to lift up that heavy boy. And we'll be tactically deploying it right up to the front line here. Wasting no time getting that into the action, as, yeah, otherwise they're extremely slow to get anywhere, do anything with. Termite here, blasting away with its heat ray beams. One of the few Cortex units to take advantage of heat ray beams. Friendly banter in the chat, always funny when that happens. Mammoth finally starting its march. Oh, that is a new laser sound. Whoa. That is a meaty laser sound. I love that sound. Yeah, that is really good. Okay. Sneaky update to the Mammoth, changing its laser sound, but for the better, for sure. That sounds wonderful. A little bit more distinct than the stock standard pew-pew of the heavy lasers. Very cool. I think that's worth it. Yeah, you know, having different sounds for different units, maybe different sounds for the laser tiers per faction makes a lot of sense. Not sure what the plan is exactly, but I love it. Let's hear that again. Yeah, that's great. That sounds like a microwave. That sounds exactly what I imagine a weaponized microwave would sound like. The time has come. All good things must come to an end. And in this case, it's going to be Blossom's main production facility here. The trigger is pulled, the fiends are launched, the mammoths are marching, and all carnage is brought loose here as the red facility is overwhelmed and engulfed in flames. Beautiful, beautiful run by right there for our blue team. An excellent way of concluding this match here, as we do have, of course, the commanders hidden in the corners, but I have a feeling that this is effectively GG. We'll go ahead and speed things up here. The brown commander, the only base left standing, and yeah, I'm pretty confident that the blue team has managed to claim their victory here in this game. Will we be self-destructing, or gonna be hiding the commanders? How annoying is that? Okay. It was one of those moments where you start mass-producing scout planes. An important skill to know in Beyond No Reason is how to detect commanders that have been hidden all over the place. Looks like the blue team has found one of them. Will they detect the other? Yep. It was located. Hiding it on the island just for good measure. Okay. Gonna start the bombing now. A dragon as well, of course, just to lay on the heat. And this will be the end of our red team. Okay. Is it a little BM? Maybe. Is it also pretty funny? Absolutely. As GG is well won here by our blue team. Thanks a ton for watching, folks. If you'd like to send in replays to be cast here as well, like this one here, you're more than welcome to do so over on the Discord channel. There's a replay submissions channel over there where you can go ahead and drop it, and I'm always eager to see what the best and brightest, or maybe the newbiest of players are up to these days, so feel free to drop it on over there. Other than that, though, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you in the very next match of Beyond No Reason. Peace out, everybody.